Welcome you once again to the another session of the English class. Today we will cover the lesson A Hero Part 3. Already you have covered Part 1 and Part 2. You must have seen the video. Part 3. Okay? Part 3. In Part 2 and 3, we knew that the Swami's father gave the pressure and ordered him to sleep in the office room alone. If you have the courage, you forget the strength. If you have the courage, you come and sleep in the office room. And Swami, now forced to sleep in the office room, Swami came to the office room and to sleep. Okay? As night advanced, the silence in the house deepened. As night progressed, the silence in the house became deep. Advance means progress and deepen means make it deeper and deeper. Okay, darker and darker. His heartbeat faster. Swami's heartbeat became faster because he is alone in the office room. He remembered all the stories of devils and ghosts. What he have heard of the stories from others, he remembered because he was alone. He heard all the stories of devils and ghosts. Devils means a spirit of evil. Spirit of evil. In Christian and Jewish belief. In Christian and Jewish belief, devil is what? The spirit of evil. And ghost means a dead person which is believed to appear. A dead person which is believed to appear. He remembered all the stories of devils and ghosts. He had heard how he often had his chum. Chum means his bosom friend or close friend. His bosom friend or close friend. Chum, a close friend. Chum, the friend name is Mani. Mani seen the devil in the banyan tree. Mani has seen the devil in the banyan tree at the end of the street, at the end of the road. This is the first incident he remembered. Secondly, and what about poor Munisami's father? Munisami is another friend. Munisami's father who spat out blood, who vomit blood. Spat out means vomit. Who vomit blood because the devil near the river edge slapped on his cheek. Slapped on his cheek. Slapped means hit with the palm. Hit with the palm of the hand. This is the palm. Hit with the palm of the hand. Slapped. Spattered blood because the devil near the river had slapped his cheek when he was returning home late one night. We remember his friend Mani, and another incident is Munisimi's father. Two things. Then and so on, his thoughts continued. One by one, he remembered and his thoughts continued. He was faint in fear. Remembering, he became senseless. Faint. A ray of light from the street lamp strayed in and cast shadows on the wall. A ray of light from the street lamp. On the street, outside the house, is a ray of lamp. A ray of lamp strayed. Strayed means spread. Spread in, that means in the house, and cast shadows on the wall. That appeared a shadow on the wall. Though the stillness, all kind of noise reached in his ears. Though night was deeper and deeper, and night was progressing, and the total, it was very silent. The night was very silent. Still then, he remembered the sound of some insects. Some sounds came to his ears. What are the sounds? Tickling of a clock. You know clock? Wall clock. Tick, 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 tick sound. Okay? Tickling of the clock. The rustling of leaves. Dry leaves. When you go to your field your campus, if the dry leaves are there, it will touch, the such of sound will come. That is rustling sound. Okay, rustling sound. And the sound of the snoring. You must have heard in your family the senior persons, particularly the senior persons, while sleeping, they make some type a sort of sound while sleeping. That is snoring. Okay, snoring. And humming of some unknown insects. Humming insects. Insects, you know, this is the picture of insects. Insects, they produce a sound. The sound is called humming. Humming, the humming sound of insects. After that, he covered himself in the blanket as if it were an armor. He covered himself with the blanket. The blanket, he covered his total body as if it were a armor. That blanket is a armor. Armor, you remember, armor means a hard metal. Armor means a hard metal used to protect. I have written 2 times. Used to protect. Okay. Used to protect to body while fighting. While fighting with others, a hard metal is covered with the body that protects our body for our safety. This, you see the picture. This is the armor. Armor covered the devils to come up and clutch his throat and carry him away. Armor covered himself. In such a way, he covered the blanket that he felt it is an armor to him. So completely that he could hardly breathe. That means hardly means a negative word. He was unable to breathe. In such a way, he covered his body with the blanket, was unable. Every moment he expected the devils to come up and clutch his throat and carry him away. Every moment he remembered and imagined that the devil is coming and clutch his throat, holding his throat and carrying him away, dragging him away outside the room. There are the instance of his old friend. Another example, another instance he is citing. Example, he is showing another instance. Instance means example. There was another example of his old friend in class 4. In class 4, who suddenly disappeared. And was said to have carried up by a ghost. That friend was carried away by a ghost to soil or a near. First example was about his best friend chum, Mani. Second is Manuswami's father. Third one is a friend in class 4. Then after that, Swami quickly got up and spread his bed under the bench. Then got up and spread his bed under the bench, and crossed there. You remember, crossed means walk close to the ground. In such a way, he slept. It was very near to the ground. You see the picture. Crossed to the ground. Bench and crossed there. And it seemed to be the much safer place. Sleeping under the bench, Swami felt it is very safer place for him. He shut his eyes tight, he closed his eyes tight, and encased himself in his blanket once again. Encased means cover something completely. Okay, cover something completely. Encased himself in his blanket once again, and unknown to himself, and fell asleep. Asleep means deep sleep. In his sleep, he saw the terrible dreams. Now he saw the dreams. What are the dreams? He saw a tiger was chasing him. A tiger was following him. A tiger was chasing to go after something. The tiger was following him. A tiger was chasing him, and in that moment his feet stuck to the ground. Stuck means insert or push. Insert or push. His feet, when tiger is chasing him, his foot is sticking to the ground. He tried to escape. Escape means fail to be noticed. He tried to escape, but his feet would not move. He was left, was unable to move. The tiger was at his back. He saw the tiger at his back. He could hear the claws of scratch. Claws. You see the picture, claws and scratch. Scratch means to rub the surface with something. To rub the surface with something. With his paws, the tiger is scratching the ground. Scratch, scratch, scratch. And then a light thought. Thought means a huge sound. A huge sound. You had slept, but a huge sound came from the house. Yes, a thought means a sound when a heavy object hit something else. A heavy object hit something else. Thought. Swami tried to open his eyes. Swami made the effort to open his eyes, but the eyelids could not open. He was unable to open his eyes, and a frightened dream continued. And the fearful dream, terrible dream, continued one after another. And it threatened to continue all his life. It threatened to continue all his life. That means that this type of dream he saw that was very fearful and terrible. So Swami groaned in despair. Groan means a sound feeling pain. Groan means a sound feeling pain. And despair means be without hope. Without hope. Swami felt pain or make the such type of sound in despair. Using his utmost effort, he opened his eyes. Lastly, using his all the force, he opened his eyes and he put his hand out to feel the Granny's presence. Then he remembered perhaps he was sleeping beside the Granny. So he put his hand out to feel the Granny's presence, whether Granny is here or not. As it was his habit, always he slept, always was sleeping beside the Granny, but he only tossed the wooden leg of the bench. Instead of the Granny, he tossed the wooden leg of the bench. And his lonely state came back to him. Now he felt he is alone. Nobody is with him. So he sweated with pride. Sweated means a salty liquid that comes through our skin. A salty liquid that comes through our skin. He sweated with pride. Pride means afraid. And now, what was this rustling? Then he remembered what type of sound was coming. What type of sound was coming? The rustling sound. He moved to the edge of the bench. Edge means at the side of the last border of the bench. He moved to the side of the bench, edge of the bench, and started in the darkness. Stared at the darkness. Looked closely in the darkness. Something was moving down. He saw that in the darkness something was moving down. He lay gazing at it in horror. in horror. He lay gazing. Horror means strong feeling of fear. Horror means strong feeling of fear. He lay gazing at it in horror. His end had come. He felt that now his end has come. His life is going to be ended. So he became desperate. Desperate means having lost all hope. Having lost all hope. Desperate. Desperate. He knew that the devil would presently pull him out. The figure which was moving in the darkness is the devil or ghost. He will come. He would pull him out. He would pull him out and tear him to shreds. Tear means pull to pieces with force. Pull to pieces with force. Pull to pieces with force. And shreds means very small pieces. Very small pieces. The devil would pull him out and tear him to shreds. So why should we wait in? If devil will come and he will attack me and he will tear me into pieces, then why should I will wait? He became courageous now. He became courageous. As it came nearer, that strange figure, that figure which was moving in the darkness, that figure came nearer. He crawled out from under the bench. He crawled out. Crawl means move forward with the hands and knee. Moves forward with the hands and knee. He crawled out from under the bench and hugged it with all his might. Might means force. Might means strength or force. He hugged it with all his might. Hug means, here is hug. Hug means put the arms around and hold tightly to express the happiness. So to put someone with his arms to express happiness. Hugged with all his might and used his teeth like a mortal weapon. When Swami hugged that strange figure, that unknown figure which is moving in the darkness, and he hugged it with his all force, and used his teeth. He opened his mouth and take a bite. Use your teeth and like a mortal weapon. Mortal weapon means deadly weapon. Deadly weapon. You see the picture. These are the example of the mortal weapon. Mortal weapon. Mortal weapon means deadly weapon. Ayo, something has bitten me. That strange figure, the figure which is moving in the darkness, make the sound, ayo, something has bitten me. There is an agonized cry which was followed by a heavy tumbling and falling amidst of furniture. He made a sound, ayo. That agonized cry, agonized means a feeling of mental pain. A feeling of mental pain. When Swami hold tightly his leg and gave a bite like a mortal weapon, he make a sound. There is an agonized cry. That unknown figure gave the agonized cry, which was followed by a heavy tumbling and falling amidst of furniture. Tumbling means the skill of executing gymnastics. You must have seen the gymnastics. The person, the lady or girl or the boy, the sportsman who performs, who take participate in gymnastics, his body is very flexible. So tumbling means the skill of executing the gymnastics. And he fell down, and he fell down in the middle of the furniture in a moment. Listening the cry sound, listening the agonizing crying sound, in a moment, 3 persons came. Father, cook, and servant came carrying a light. The father was very affectionate towards his son. Everybody, every parents. So the father was very busy and awake. Listening to that sound, the cook, father, and servant came with a light, and all 3 of them fell on the burglar. It was night and darkness. They came with a torchlight, but they fell. The burglar was on the midst of the furniture. All three fell down. All three fell down on the burglar, who lay in midst of furniture with a bleeding ankle. Bleeding ankle. That means from the ankle the blood was coming. This is bleeding ankle.